Hi, everyone, and welcome to this session of Inside AWAI, 5 ways to get clients to come to you. My name is Rebecca Matter, and I'm joined by Katie Yeakle. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Rebecca. Hi, everybody.
So this presentation is all about bringing clients to us. We're going to talk about what's called inbound marketing strategies. We're going to talk about inbound versus outbound just to make sure we're all on the same page. We will talk about setting yourself up for success, like how do you actually prepare yourself to make sure that you're using these strategies properly. And then we'll cover the five of the inbound marketing strategies that you could do to get clients to come to you, and finally wrap it up with best practices. I also want to mention that Pam Foster, who is our Director of Copywriting Training, is on the call as well today. So she'll be in the Q&A answering questions and may jump in and chime in from time to time as well, since she has done a lot of inbound marketing and has coached other copywriters on how to do this as well. So thank you, Pam, for joining us too. So when we talk, oh, she's unmuting. Hey, Pam.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Excellent. So the reason why I came up with this topic for today, and the reason why I wanted to cover it, is that a lot of times, we like to demystify the marketing stuff. We realize that when you are working or wanting to work as a writer, the whole getting clients piece of it seems scary and unknown. And the reality is, it isn't scary per se. It feels that way because you just don't know the steps to take. And so through Inside AWAI, we've been tackling a lot of different topics individually. We've been tackling how to pick your niche and how to actually reach out to clients, what clients want, what's in their mindset, how to get your foot in the door. We've talked about a lot of these little pieces, and I'm going to give you some of those resources in case you missed those webinars. Within this presentation, I will be giving you links to those resources too, because every single one of these strategies that we talk about could really have its own full session. But the purpose of this session is just to kind of take a step up to like 30,000 feet and take a look at all the different ways that you can market yourself, and then focus in on this inbound side so that you can be doing activities all the time that will be generating, hopefully, leads for your writing business. So we talk about inbound versus outbound. Inbound marketing in general, whether you're looking for clients or companies looking to sell their products, inbound marketing is bringing people to you. You're producing content or things that they want. So clients are out there searching for these things, and therefore they're coming to you. By doing that, they discover your marketing message. You're not reaching out to them. You're not delivering the message. They're finding you and finding your message before they even ever talk to you. With outbound, you're actually proactively seeking out the clients. You're defining who you want to go after. You're reaching out to them, and you are delivering your marketing message in the way that you want them to hear it. So that's just the difference. Inbound, we're pulling clients to us. Outbound, we are going out and connecting with them directly. So some examples of inbound, just to describe the two. Inbound would be things like social media. You know, you're chatting on social media. You're not talking to anyone in particular, but you're bringing people to you. Publishing, books, blogs, and we're going to get into some of these specifics, but that's, you know, you're putting stuff out there, hoping that people find it and come back to you. Public speaking, again, you're talking to a bunch of people, hoping that it comes back to you. On the outbound side, we're talking about things like networking, going and meeting people face-to-face or on the phone. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. This is what I do. We're talking about cold calling. And some of these words I'm sure you look at and you're like, I hate the network. Cold calling. All of these play a part in your business, and you will become comfortable with a lot of these things. But this is just to explain the two different sides. And each of these lists could have a dozen different activities. But this is to just get your mind on the inbound versus outbound if you're new to marketing. So cold calling is, hi, my name is Rebecca Matter. I'm a copywriter. I'd love to help you with your copywriting needs. Email prospecting is the same thing as cold calling, only you're sending an email instead, right? So inbound, again, you're just pushing stuff out there and hoping that it pulls stuff back in. Outbound, we're genuinely reaching out to one person and saying, hi, here's my value. Here's what I would like to do for you. So there are pros and cons to both, and none of these strategies work better than any other. I'm going to show you kind of how they work. But really, Joshua Boswell, one of our experts on building a business with AWAI, he's an AWAI member who went from being well in the hole and bankrupt to 6 figures in his first year, and has since, that was 10 years ago, and has since paid it forward again and again teaching our members how to do what he did. For those of you who are going on the Launch Your Writer's Life in a Day tour with him, this is what he's going to be teaching you, is the marketing side of all of this. How do you build your business and bring people into you? But he always says the marketing strategy that works best is the one that you're actually going to do. So if you're not comfortable with cold calling and you're going to resist that every single day, that's probably not the strategy for you, at least not right now. So it's finding things that you're comfortable with, and we're going to go over 5 different strategies. You can just pick one, you can pick 2, you can pick 5 of them, the ones that work, that feel the best to you. So the pros of inbound are going to be a steady stream of inquiries, right? I'm publishing content, I'm doing things, and therefore, if I'm doing it effectively, people are constantly coming to me saying, hi, I'd like to learn more about your services. Please tell me more, please tell me more. And it's far less intimidating for a lot of us, especially when you're just starting out. The thought of picking up the phone and calling up the marketing director saying, I want to work for you, a lot of us, that makes our stomach drop, like, I can't do that. So writing and publishing and kind of being a little bit more behind the scenes on social media is a lot less intimidating. So there are definite pros to inbound marketing. On the outbound side, though, you have complete control of your marketing. You are delivering the message to the exact right person in the way that you want them to hear it. You know that the leads that you're getting are high quality because you've defined them. You've already defined the companies that you want to work for. You know who you're reaching out to. So your leads on the outbound side are higher quality. And you can land clients faster. Because you're in control, you can always pick up the phone one more time. You can always email one more prospect. You can always follow up one more time. So your speed at which you can move forward and can land more clients can be faster on the outbound side, simply because there's no ramping up. There's no writing the book and then publishing it and then marketing it and getting people to see it. It is right now, I'm going to know if I can land this client or not, simply because I'm going to call them right now. So there are definite pros to both sides. There are also cons to both sides. On the inbound side, you have zero control over the quality of the lead. The person contacting you might not be your ideal client. The person contacting you might not be able to afford you, might not understand what you do, might not understand your value, not be a fit. They want you to write sales letters, but you write case studies and white papers. You really don't know who's contacting you, and so you have to spend a little more time figuring out if they're a good fit for you. You're also at the mercy of what's going on in the industry. So if you're writing books, if you're writing articles, you have to, it depends what else is happening. Who else is writing books? Who else is writing articles? Can you get your stuff published? Can you market it effectively? Can you bring people in? Are there trends that are shifting or distractions that are happening? That's just part of the inbound side. Again, you're producing content, so it depends who's got their attention, right? Who's got something out there that your potential clients want. And it takes time. It just takes time. You've got to write. You've got to land speaking gigs. You've got to do the things to then, sow the oats in order to actually have stuff to reap later on. So it takes time. Outbound, there are cons too. It requires diligence and consistency, right? We've got to follow up with those leads. We've got to be putting ourselves out there all the time. It takes time to research. You've got to find the companies you want to work for. You want to find the people that you want to work with. And then it feels scarier, right? Nobody likes to hear the word no. Nobody likes to put themselves out there. Everybody that I've met in my 13 years at AWAI, I maybe get one a year who's like, yes, I love being out there. I love putting myself out there. And, it's the thrill of the hunt. I love picking up the phone. And that's very rare. So if that's not you, know that you are in the majority, like a huge majority. Most of us do not like to be put out there. But I will say one little thing. If you put yourself out there and someone says no, which they're going to, not everyone's going to say yes, the majority are going to say no. The minute someone says no, pat yourself on the back because you're officially a professional copywriter, right? By the time, once you actually go out there and you hang up your shingle and someone says no, you've taken that first big step, and so you can just shake that off and say, excellent. Now let's make the next call, because you never know which call it's going to be. It might be the second, it might be the third, it might be the fourth, it might be the 50th person that you reach out to. But the name of the game with any kind of marketing is just trying, right? Putting yourself and doing again and again. And when you get a yes, that's going to feel awesome too. You're going to send Katie, me, and Pam an email so we can celebrate for you. But when you get the yes, also reach out one more time. That's just kind of the way statistics work. You never know. The next call might be a yes, and the next one might be a yes, and the next one after that. Even if you hit 50 no's right before, you might hit 4 yeses in a row. And I have learned in my experience that leveraging success brings more success. The minute you have one, start putting yourself out there, drop more lines in the water, because usually your confidence is there, and that's usually when things start to roll fast. like that snowball. It builds and builds, and then once you have that momentum, it's a lot easier. And again, your confidence is up and you're reaching out. So these are the pros and cons of inbound and outbound. Both, everything in marketing has pros and cons, the way we decide, what we decide to do for our business. And the answer really is both. Ideally, in the long run, you will have some strategies on the inbound side, and you will have some strategies on the outbound side. You will be publishing content and bringing people to you, and you will be seeking out the clients that you want to write for. If I ask everyone to take a second and think about one company that you believe in so much, in your niche, if it's not in your niche, if you don't even know what your niche is, think of one product or service that you use or consume or love to read, a magazine, anything. Think about one company that you're like, oh my gosh, if I could write for them, if I could write this style of copy, if I could sell this product, if I could give more people this solution to the problem that they're having, that would make me smile. Just think about it. I'm sure everyone right now, something is coming in your head. Maybe for some of you, it's AWAI. You know, I can tell you we've found all of our copywriters from our audience. You know, all of our copywriters today. Pam Foster came from you. She was once in the webinars. She was once at our event. She was taking our program. Mindy McCourt, Charlotte Crockett, Heather Robson, Joshua Boswell, all of these people. So if you want to write for us, that's a good one as well. But think about that dream client. And that's the outbound side of it, you know. And if I asked you, if I gave you more time and said, no, give me 5 companies, give me 10 companies, spend some time online, look at websites and see like, oh, if I could write for this company, I would be so happy. That's the beauty of outbound, because you can find those companies and we can show you how to sell your value to them in a way that makes them want to hire you, where it's, yes, they'll feel the same way about you. Imagine if I had her working for me. Imagine if I had Pam Foster writing my copy. What would that do for me in this business? What would that do for my life? It would make my job so much easier because she believes in our stuff. And gosh, and that's the outbound side of things. So it can be exciting and rewarding, and you can get the confidence once you understand the marketing side. But at the same time, there are only so many companies you can contact, right? You only have so much effort that you can put in. So it's nice to also have inbound, to have people coming to you. My moral of all of this is that you want to be marketing yourself all the time, whether it's inbound, whether it's outbound. You always want to be doing something to go after the clients that you want to work for. And just by doing marketing activities, that's the biggest part of this whole game, making money as a copywriter. It all comes down to clients, right? Clients who pay us for the services that we provide, for the skills that we have, for the knowledge that we have. So by doing both, inbound and outbound, we're hedging our bets. We've got people coming to us, we're going after the companies we want, and we create a very healthy business for ourselves. But today, we're talking about inbound. So how do you set yourself up for success with inbound marketing? Before we get into the actual strategies, I want to make sure that you understand the intentions with inbound. So I got this definition from an article from Hubspot, which is actually shared by Steve Maurer, who's on this webinar and is an excellent person to follow on inbound marketing. He's one of our members. But I'm actually going to use him as an example when we get to one of the strategies today. But inbound marketing, simply creating content designed to address the problems and needs of your ideal customers, in your case, clients, to attract qualified prospects and build trust and credibility for your business. You are representing yourself as a professional who can solve problems, putting that out there with the hopes of then attracting people to you who need you. And by doing this, you've already built trust and credibility in your business because of what you've put out there. In other words, they've had a chance to try before they buy, right? They've seen your content, they've seen your work, they've seen your professionalism, so they already know that you know what you're talking about before they even contact you, which does make the lead very warm because they've already been looking through the window at the store, and now they're going inside to buy the dress that's inside. They've already looked, they've already seen, they already know what everything that you're capable. You have an expertise. You know what you're talking about. So they've already technically tried you before they're even coming in. So with that, because now we know that we are trying to attract a certain type of qualified prospects to our business, right? We have to think about who that qualified prospect is. Who is your ideal client? You have to think about that. And I really want you to think about this today and define this. Before you go through any of these strategies, don't just throw a bunch of stuff out there. Don't just throw a bunch of copy up. Don't just be acting in social media haphazardly. You do not want to just throw it out there. You've got to be strategic because that's the only way that you're going to maximize your time and that you're going to bring in the right quality clients for your business, people who will value your services and who are a fit for you. It's nice to be wanted, but I don't want 100 people calling me that aren't a fit. I'd rather have 3 who are the exact right fit for me. It's going to save me a lot of time and headache, and I'm going to make a lot more money working for clients who understand where it's true fit. It's a win-win. I've got expertise that they want, and they have something that I believe in that I can sell. Like that, you know, we are together. So who is your ideal client? And when I say that, answer the question, what niche are they in? And if you don't know what a niche is, that's basically an industry. It can be solar technology, it can be martial arts, it could be commercial dumpsters. We were talking about this yesterday on another webinar. It can be anything, but basically an industry where products are being sold. What niche are they in? If you're not familiar, we have a great webinar that we've done on Inside AWAI. Pam actually did it on how to pick your writing niche. And all of these links will be accessible in the slides once we post them with the recording. You'll get an email from me on Saturday, probably Saturday or Monday. Sorry, you'll get an email from me on Monday with a playback to this recording as well as the slides and anything else we talk about. But this link will be accessible. So your niche, you're going to want to pick a niche, and we show you how to do it in that webinar. What size is the company? Do you want to work for a big company? Do you want to work for a mid-size? Typically, I recommend the mid, the smaller size, that's, you know, the 20 to 50 employees, mainly because of speed, but that's me. I don't want to have to work with 5 different marketers who are, you know, competing with their own ideas, and I don't want to work for small businesses. I personally don't want to work with the one guy and his one shop because we're just at a little bit, that's just not a good fit for me. It might be a good fit for you, but you just have to think about that. Do you want to work with a big brand where it might take a little bit longer for the projects to go through and it takes longer to sign? Do you want to work with the mid-size, more like an AWAI, or do you want to work with the one-on-one where you're working with the business owner and helping him build his business? It's really different for everybody. It's based on your skill set and your preference. And even just when you first start out, you might just try these different things, these different tactics, different kinds of clients, and you'll figure out where you like to be. But when putting content out there, you need to think about, though, a little bit, ideally, what size company are you looking to attract, and who are some of the companies in that space? Because when you think about them, then you're specifically thinking about, okay, what does this company want? What is this client looking for? Because that's the content that I want to be providing. So what size is the company? What types of marketing do they use? You know, if I'm a case study and white paper writer, I want to look for clients. I want my ideal client to be someone who uses case studies and white papers in their marketing. If I'm a video sales letter writer or I'm a blogger, I want to make sure that companies, the clients that I'm thinking of, that I'm visualizing, are using the marketing that I want to write, because that's an ideal client for me. I don't want to bring in a bunch of people looking for case studies and white papers if I write sales letters, right? I want to be thinking about, and I know this sounds complicated, but it's not really, it's fun. It's like there are millions of companies out there, and you don't want all of them. Who do you want? You know, it's like you're the belle of the ball, and you get to pick who you're going to dance with. Think about who you genuinely want on your dance card. I was talking with one of my, with our vice president of marketing earlier today about a role that we had to hire in the company, and she was saying, you know, who do you want for this position? I said, I can't think of anyone. She's like, just explain to me the person. What are the driving, you know, what motivates this person? What are their skill set? Like, what are they? And so just by talking about it with her, I was visualizing this. All of a sudden, it started to visualize who my real prospect for this position was. And even though we don't know that person yet, it's going to help us figure out who it is, because now we have a clear understanding of what we're looking for. So that's what you're doing here. And then dig in deeper. Once you have that, think about, what are they looking for? What problems are they having right now? What information are they searching for? What's in their industry? Like, what are people talking about? What websites do they visit? Are there websites where they're going to get marketing information? Are there websites that they go to get industry information? Are they looking at, you know, let's say I'm in pet food manufacturing. Is there a trade show or association or a magazine that puts out awards every year for the top 20 pet food manufacturing companies in America? You know, think about the kinds of things that they're looking at, the kinds of reports that they're reading, the kind of websites that they're visiting to get information both about their industry and about marketing. Where do they get their ideas, right? Where do they get their ideas? Go to those places. What problems are they trying to solve? And finally, who are they looking for to help them? When they go online, what are they searching for? Are they searching for commercial dumpster copywriter? And we need to think about these things, because remember, this is strategic, this is inbound. Whatever they're looking for, we want to be there and be the answer. So take the time and go through this. And if you want some more help with this, we have another great Inside AWAI webinar that we did, that Pam did as well, called What Clients Want. And so she really brings you inside if you're really novice with all of this. And I'm using a lot of words that you're thinking, what? She really does a great job of breaking down who the people are that hire writers and what they're thinking, what keeps them up at night, and what they want from you, just to give you an inside look at that. Okay, so now we're ready. We know who we want to work for. We know who we're trying to attract. And now we're going to talk about the marketing strategies that are going to actually bring them in. As of right now, you've all had a really great marketing 101 lesson in defining your prospect and, really thinking about who you are searching for. So even this applies to your writing, this applies to the projects that you're working on outside of even client attraction. You're also, we talk about this in copywriting all the time. Who is your prospect? Who are you writing to? What's keeping them up at night? We want to know. Same thing goes here. It's a marketing lesson in finding the right fit and then providing them with the solution that you have, right? We are identifying a problem somebody has and providing them with a solution, and that's you. You provide the solution. So let's go over our 5 inbound marketing strategies to get clients to come to you. I'm going to take the first couple. Pam, feel free to jump in if you want to, and then Katie's going to jump in for the last few. But first, let's start with your website. This is actually Nick Usborne's website. Most people think of Nick Usborne as being a speaker and teacher now in the online copywriting space, but he is actually still an online copywriter in the online copywriting space. He's very specific with who he targets. He has a money-making website which targets people enjoying coffee. It's called coffeedetective.com. That's just an information website. It's a passive income-generating tool. It's good for writers to have something that's just bringing in income on the side. We call it a money-making website. He writes about coffee. He reviews different coffee makers. People search, they find information, they click the ads, he gets paid. That's just kind of what that other website does. But because of that, he has developed himself as an expert in coffee, right? So he decided to go after that market. This is his website for his online copywriting business called Zero Decaf Marketing. And it is, so his specific audience, consulting and writing services for companies selling to specialty coffee lovers at home. He's specifically targeting certain clients. Your website is a great inbound marketing tool if used properly. He's got a target market. We know exactly who his ideal client is, right, and what they're looking to do. And if you want that, he's your solution. If you're looking for someone who can help you, this is the guy. So when you put up your website, and yes, everybody needs a website. There's no way around it. You will have a LinkedIn profile too, and LinkedIn profiles are great. We're about to get to those, but you need a website. People are going to ask for it. They want to see, and it's a great way to find you. I'll give you an example in just a second. But your website, make sure it's professional. Whatever you do, do not put out a lousy-looking, unprofessional website. Because why? This is inbound. That's their first impression of you. That's your storefront. That is your first and probably best sample that they will ever see. It is your example of what you can do. It needs to be professional. It has to look good. So spend the time to put together a quality website. It can be done very inexpensively. I actually have a training series that we do. It's called Build Your Freelance Website in 4 days. So if this sounds overwhelming, you're like, how am I going to put together a website? We literally walk you step by step, choosing your look and feel, figuring out your content, handling if you don't have samples, if you don't have testimonials, what do you do then? We basically walk you through all of the content creation, the technical stuff. We help you take your website live. It's over the course of 4 days. It's a 1 hour each day. You have ongoing tech support in case you hit a challenge, but we show you how to do everything yourself, literally screen by screen. Push this red button, click this green button. So if the website feels overwhelming to you, there are very easy ways of getting it done. So I've given you that link there, but make sure it's professional, whichever path that you take. Make sure it targets your ideal client. We've spent the time defining who they are. Our website needs to target them. Remember, going back to Nick's website, we know exactly who he's targeting. He's targeting companies selling specialty coffee to coffee lovers at home. If you are a specialty coffee company selling to consumers, to individuals at home, he's your guy, right? He's targeting his ideal client. He's writing exactly to them so that when they find his website, they say, this is the guy. I need to be with this guy. It's persuasive. You got to get them to contact you. That's one big thing with all marketing strategies, no matter what you are doing, inbound, outbound, every form of any of them, make sure there is a call to action. call me to discuss your project today. Fill out this form, download my report, whatever it is. Make sure there are calls to action to get them to act. And there's a lot more we can cover on your website, but just these are the top 3. Make sure it's done. So how do you use your website, though? First of all, you optimize it for your industry. If you're not familiar with search engine optimization, that's basically indicating, including copy on your website. This is a very simplistic explanation, but including copy on your website that is relevant, that includes key phrases people are searching for. So if I'm searching for a commercial dumpster copywriter, it would be really great for that copywriter to have commercial dumpster copywriter in their opening, right? Having those key phrases. So you think about what the person is searching for when they're looking for a copywriter in that space, and then you optimize your website accordingly. If you're not familiar with SEO, we have an SEO program. If you just search our website for SEO, you'll come across a lot. But Steve Maurer, who I was talking about earlier, this is a great example. He was telling me a story the other day that a client found him online, and I can't remember the exact search phrase. It was like something industrial engineering thing. He has a very specific key phrase that he targets. But the company found him by searching for that phrase in Google. And they told him, we came across you because we searched this phrase and your website came up #1 for this search phrase. And so they got on the conversation and he had them kind of on the hook, but they weren't convinced. And they said, yeah, but do you really understand anything about search engine optimization? Because that's what we need. And he said, didn't you just tell me that you found my website by searching Google for this key phrase? Microphone dropped. That's done. He's got that one sold because he proved that he knows what he's talking about. You came across my website, it was #1 because I optimized for the phrase that you were searching for. So with websites, you want to make sure that you're talking to one ideal client so that when they are looking for a copywriter in that space, they come across you. You want to drive traffic to it, so you want to link to it from all of your social media accounts. You want to constantly be driving traffic back to your website because Google is looking at all those groups. They're looking at Facebook, they're looking at LinkedIn. They want links coming in for relevancy so that whenever someone searches for commercial dumpster copywriter, your website is coming up. And you want to link to it from other sources, articles that you write. Rebecca Matter is a copywriter and consultant for blah, blah, blah. You can find her at RebeccaMatter.com. Constantly, if you're publishing, directories that are in your industry, associations, lots of them will give you free links to your site just to be in their supplier guide. Anywhere that will give you content back coming to you, put links out there. And then have something on it that your clients want, whether it's a lead generation piece like a report or an ebook, or you decide to write a blog for your audience. Have something relevant there that has content on your site that's going to pull people to your website. Now, again, each of these topics can go a full hour. Heck, for the website one, we go over it for 4 hours. But I just want to give you, the intention of this is to give you a surface that you kind of understand the big picture and can choose the strategies that work for you and then drill into them on a deeper level. But everybody needs to have a website. The second thing everyone needs to do is to have a LinkedIn page. This is not an option anymore. You must have a LinkedIn page. And there is Steve Maurer. So let's see if I can see what he's, industrial manufacturing and safety. That's what it is. So he is an industrial manufacturing and safety copywriter. What I love about Steve with LinkedIn, one, he's very effective at using LinkedIn, but he is constantly working this and doing what we teach, picking a niche, focusing in. He picked a niche in an industry that he works in. He doesn't have 30 years of copywriting experience in industrial manufacturing and safety, but he's worked in the industry all that time. And you'll see right at the beginning of his description, 30 years experience as a maintenance technician, 30 years as a licensed boiler operator, 25 years experience as an industrial electrician and troubleshooter, right? So it doesn't even matter about his copywriting experience because he has so much experience working with the companies that he's targeting that he knows. He knows exactly what's going on both sides of this coin. So who better to contact than him? LinkedIn profiles, you can literally get them up in a day. I mean, this is, you want to have a LinkedIn profile, but you'll see if you look at his, it's a great example of how to target a very specific client. So when you're putting together your LinkedIn profile, and we had a great webinar with Elise Bennon on how to write a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have it or you want to improve yours, I recommend everybody check out this webinar. But just like your website, you're speaking to your ideal client. Who is that client? It all goes back to that work we've already done. Who is it? Let's name them. Let's name that the grouping in our description, in our title, our headline. Everything about that LinkedIn profile needs to be speaking to that ideal client. Include a real professional picture. LinkedIn is a professional. You don't have to have your picture on your website. Some people want it, some people don't. Don't worry about that. You don't have to. but on LinkedIn you do. People communicating with you on LinkedIn are looking for person-to-person communication. They're not looking for business-to-business. Me being a business owner wanting to hire a company to write my copy. They want personal communication. And social media has even driven this. I mean, this is, even in B2B now, business-to-business marketing, where businesses are selling to other businesses, they really are honing in on conversational person-to-person communication, because really, we're still people, right? Even if we are a business making a business decision, it's a person or a collection of people making the decision. The business doesn't make the decision, a person does. So people want to do business with people. They want to connect with a person. So on LinkedIn, it's very important that you show your person. They want to see who they're talking to, just like you would be in the olden days of meeting face-to-face. This is the new day of how we meet our clients. We meet over LinkedIn. And make sure that the picture's professional. LinkedIn is a professional recruiting tool, if you will. And so you want it to be professional, just like you wouldn't show up unless you were working in like a software development. You wouldn't show up in shorts for an interview, right? You'd put on your suit and represent yourself well. Same thing goes with your LinkedIn picture. And then make sure that in your profile, and there's a lot of ways to expand it, and it's all in that webinar, address the key challenges, needs, and interests in every part. This is something that Steve has really honed in on in his profile. He's constantly calling out their challenges, what they need, so that when they come to his profile, they understand, they quickly see that he understands who they are and what they're hoping to accomplish. You're going to want to optimize your profile for people searching. So just like with your website, you know, recruiters can search LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn premium account where I can actually go in and search people that I am not affiliated with in LinkedIn. If I'm looking for somebody with affiliate marketing experience, I can go in now and search and find people in LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you're optimized for the things that your clients might be looking for. Copywriter with chiropractic experience, veterinary copywriter, whatever the thing is, make sure that you are defining your niche or your ideal client in those things so that when they're searching for you, they can find you in the results. You want to write long-form posts, and we cover this in that session. I'm actually going to post an article with this recording that Steve Maurer wrote on what he's been doing with inbound marketing with LinkedIn, where he goes into a little bit more detail. But write these long-form posts. LinkedIn, probably almost a year ago now, came out with article publishing, that you could publish articles. It was called blogging rights to LinkedIn, and they only gave it initially to a few people, and then they opened it up, and then they opened it more. Now almost everybody has it. So you can use LinkedIn as a free way of posting quality content. You know, we always think about how do we get articles out there on other people's sites and getting links back to our website. LinkedIn is a great tool for that. Put out relevant content for your ideal clients. Post real long, good articles that provide great value. This is what I just learned, is following your ideal company's page. If you make that list of your top 20 companies that you want to work for, follow their pages. What that does is it puts them in your news feed, and so whenever they're sharing content, you can comment, and you can share it, and you can start to engage with them, and every time you do, it's letting them know, hey, Steve Maurer commented on our post. Who's the Steve Maurer guy? He seems really educated in our area. They go to his page, they find out he does have a lot of experience. Oh, and by the way, he's a copywriter. So it's a great way of pulling people back to your profile, commenting on their posts. I'm going to show you an example of what Steve did, but show your value. Don't just say, hey, I like this, or great idea, guys. No, like actually contribute. Read the full post of what the company put out and then contribute. I have found so many people this way, great copywriters, just because of watching their engagement with our stuff. And we're going to talk about participating in groups and stuff in just a minute as another strategy, but comment on that company. If you want to work for ABC Pet Manufacturing, follow them, and every time they put out a piece of content that you feel like you could really add value to, post a comment, a really well-written, thought-out comment. Don't just, haphazardly do it. Think about it and be strategic. What's going to get them to say, who is this person? To link back to your profile. And then finally, one last strategy is to write content referencing your ideal client and tagging them in the post. Just heard something from, how I referenced Hubspot earlier. You can write a content post referencing this company as a source or an expert, quoting them, and actually tagging them in it, which will alert them that somebody is talking about them. We companies love people talking about us because that's free marketing for us, right? So we always go check it out to see what they're saying. So now all of a sudden you've got the company's attention, and then they link through to your profile, and oh, by the way, this person is a copywriter in this space. So lots of ways to use LinkedIn. It's not just put up a profile and hope that someone finds it. There's a lot of ways to pull people to your profile. This is the one example I wanted to show you. So this is a company that Steve was following, and they posted this, right? And you can see he commented here, and you'll be able to see this on a bigger scale when you have the slides, but you can see it's a very well thought out comment. This comment, not just the company that he's targeting, but everybody else who's also following this company, their competitors, other companies in the industry, saw this. They saw the post, and they found Steve's comment, and then they linked through to Steve, right? Not even just this company, other companies, because we all look at everybody else's stuff. We're all looking at what our competitors are doing. So now, even though he targeted this company, other companies saw him. He's gotten 3 direct leads from just that little comment, people contacting him to see if they could do copywriting for their business. Isn't that crazy? Like, just hearing that was, oh my goodness, this is a gold mine for writers. So hopefully everyone will use LinkedIn. Those are like the 2 website links are the 2 no choices. You've got to do them. All right, Katie, I'm going to hand it over to you and jump in with participating online.
Okay, thanks so much, Rebecca. Oh my goodness, wait till you see this dialogue we have going in the Q&A. Everybody's eating this up and is getting this, and I can tell are just going to start implementing these strategies right away.
You never know. So, it's such a new topic for us that I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, and just one little visual that you might want to keep in mind as far as, you know, inbound versus outbound and how much and whatever. You know, if you almost think of it like a portfolio, you know, like an investment portfolio or a pie graph or something, you know, you definitely want to resonate to the things that you feel most strongly about and that work the best for you. But you want to just have little pieces in all of these pies. And if you kind of think of it of having it be somewhat balanced that way, it might just help with your overall strategy. And this is a strategy, and this is something that you should be thinking about strategically, like Rebecca said. This is part of running your business, and it's the part that's going to drive your business. So I'm so glad we are spending this time talking about it, and I think it's going to spawn more and more conversations about it. But so we've had these 3 great ways of doing this inbound marketing discussed so far. We have a few more. Well, we've had 2. Here's the 3rd one, and that is participating online. And I think for a lot of people, I know for me at least, this is actually a fun one, although they all have elements of fun to them. And it's something that you may already be doing. You know, it's about becoming part of the community that you want to write for, that you want to shine in. And it's adding to the conversations already going on in a useful and effective way. Ways of doing this, when you find your niche or you find that even if it's just a company that you really love that you want to work for, that can be the starting point for you. But go to the what are all the professional groups associated in that world? For instance, if you are interested in writing for the yoga industry, you know, what are all the different groups within that world? There's probably teachers, there's probably studio owners, there's maybe experts or coaches, there's equipment and clothing and retreats. And, you know, when you really think about it and almost have the niche or the company in the middle, and then you think of all the outshoots, those are all opportunities of getting your foot in the door. And I guarantee you there are organizations, there's Facebook groups, there's people gathering online in some fashion and talking about this common interest. And that's where you want to you want to get in there. And you want to go in first as a member of the community and then become an expert in helping other people within this community succeed. Rebecca mentioned writing blog comments, responding to blogs. This is a really great way to get noticed, to really help people, and to get a real feel for what's going on, what's important. You know, Lee and Mindy over on the Barefoot Writer side of our business, they're constantly responding to and getting ideas from people that post on either the Facebook page or respond to the articles. And oftentimes, these conversations spark ideas, and, you know, it's just natural then that they turn to those people to then write out those articles. Charlie Byrne, who is now the copy chief for the Oxford Club, he got his first writing job because he used to comment on Mark Ford's Early to Rise e-letter. And, you know, over a series of months, Mark was like, this guy can write, or this guy, I like the way this guy thinks. He really gets what we're doing. Let's bring him in and talk to him. And, you know, these things happen this way. But if he hadn't been doing that, if he hadn't put himself out there, it never would. So definitely want to encourage that type of behavior. Then there's forums as well. Again, when you go in, you want to be professional, you want to have useful information, and you want to provide solutions and answers. So you go to where the online groups and forums where your clients are looking for information. Rebecca touched on this. Where are your clients going? You know, for instance, for us, just thinking about us, we're always looking to see what's the latest trends in marketing and teaching and new ways of doing what we do, and you know, how can we make our systems better? So those are the groups that we join, and that's where we look for experts and people connect with us. That's one example. You also want to go where your clients are servicing their customers. So for instance, if we were back on the yoga example, you know, where are yoga, and if you have a yoga studio, where would a yoga studio go to try to find new customers? Well, you know, it might be new moms groups, or it might be retirees, or it might be people that are recovering from some kind of injury. Those are all pretty specific targeted groups that once you become part of that community, you will be looked at as an expert, and there's opportunities there. So you want to go where your clients are looking for information, and you want to go where the clients are servicing their customers. Those are two different avenues to help you establish yourself as an expert and develop relationships and start bringing in potential clients.
I have a tiny thing that I remember from Web Intensive. John Morrow, many of you know, is this amazing blogger, you know, who brings $100,000 per month, and like this great. Well, he came from Copyblogger. He worked with Brian Clark. He actually built up the Copyblogger content to a level, and then Brian Clark is the one who encouraged him to then build a business around what he was capable of doing. But the part of the story that they never tell, and the part that he told us at Web Intensive, which is our annual conference for web copywriting, is that the way he got that job with Brian was to go through all of Brian's content training, follow what Brian was doing, and then he would go into the groups and answer everyone's questions. So when people would go through the programs and they would ask questions like, I'm confused about blah, 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 he would get in there and answer. So Brian immediately saw that this guy, this unknown guy at the time, knew and had taken his stuff, knew it, and was now teaching. He was taking the burden off of the Copyblogger business. He was now the teacher and was creating a name for himself in the company with the members, and clearly knew what he was doing because he was teaching it properly. So when time came to hire a content manager, who do you think they hired? John, because he was in there teaching. He was just doing. He was just part of it. Jim Wright is a perfect example on our side. He was just in there helping our members with website questions. I do that series, and he was just on Facebook, just genuinely helping our members. So when it came time for me to hire a new presenter to join me on the tech side, who did I hire? Jim Wright, because he was right there demonstrating his expertise all along. So that's the going to where your clients are servicing their customers. AWI groups, like if you want to work for AWI, be in the groups, be on the Facebook groups, be on the LinkedIn group, and be helpful and demonstrate your expertise. It's such a passive way of not having to say, look at me, but rather just demonstrating how awesome you are.
And the companies actually really start to rely on you, and you almost become like, you know, a junior employee until they're like, wait a second, we're not actually paying this person. What, you know, just think if we actually hired them and made this a more formal agreement. And it worked countless times for us, and it really can work in any industry. It's a great way to do it. So you want to, while you're doing this, and again, thinking about yourself, you don't necessarily want to be out there, hey, look at me, hire me, do this. You want it to be a little bit more organic than that. You want to provide solutions, be helpful, show that you're an expertise. And this one, I love this because a lot of people do struggle with this. They're afraid that they're going to give too much away, and then why would people, you know, need to actually hire them? It just doesn't work that way. And by proving your worth, they're going to want more. And by demonstrating what you know and what you can help them, because remember, the companies can't do this themselves. They don't want to do this themselves. They want to have confidence that they're hiring somebody that knows what they're doing, and then they want to hire that person to actually do it, and then they're going to want to hire them to do it again and again and again. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. So that's pretty much that whole idea of participating online in a nutshell. Again, I think we could spend a whole hour just on that as well. But we do want to move on to one that people may be groaning at a little bit, public speaking. I just did a little quick research, and 74% of the public have a fear of public speaking, and for some, fear of public speaking, it actually rates higher than death and spiders. It's public speaking, death, and spiders. So I have some good news though. If you're in the 26% that's not afraid of it, that actually probably loves it and thrives on it, you know, this is definitely for you. But if you are on the 74%, you know, there are so many ways to overcome this fear. You know, do it in baby steps, not have it be something that is such a debilitating way to do it. But we'll get to that in a minute. But I do just want to talk about just the benefits of it. You know, whenever you see a speaker or, you know, somebody leading a group, somebody in charge, you know, they're perceived as an expert. It's a great way to actually speak to people not just as a group, but then in one-on-one situations. It just leads itself naturally to follow up and that type of interaction. And it's just a great way to meet a lot of people at the same time. So if this is something that you're interested in but tentative about, you know, start small. Start with a little meet and greet. You know, all these meetups that are available are a great way to dip your toe in the water. You know, the local Chamber of Commerce, you know, their breakfast meetings. And, you know, you just, hey, I'm Katie Yeakle. I write copy for local small businesses. I'd love to help you with your marketing. Or if you go to any of the organizers of any of these groups, 99% of the time, they need help filling out their agendas of what their programs or, what their events are going to be. And just say, I have 5 minutes worth of material that I think could help our members be more successful. If I have one marketing tip or one idea as far as relationship building, just give away one tip at a time and just kind of build that way. This also leads to the next one as far as becoming an expert when we get into writing and some things like that. But I would encourage everybody to just think about any opportunities where there would be a platform for you to speak to a certain number of people in your particular niche, where your target prospects are, and give it a try. Just do it once, and if death and spiders come, well, then will have been right. But if not, it probably won't be such a bad thing. Okay, so where some of these places to find speaking opportunities: industry associations, networking groups, local events, virtual training. That's a huge way of doing things now. And if you put together a program that's very targeted, there probably are platforms that would love to have you help them fill out their programs. And again, anywhere your ideal clients could be. So think about where they're meeting, think about what's being organized for them, and then think about what you bring, what you have to offer to help them be more successful. Writing. Okay, well, this is the easiest one, right? This is why everybody's here. So this should be on everybody's list. It should be a big part of everybody's portfolio. What better way to prove your expertise, to introduce yourself, to get yourself out there than by writing? Writing articles, writing blog posts, newsletters, books, ebooks. Figure out what it is that your niche needs, your potential clients need. Is it marketing help? Is it just help in their business being more successful? Is it some way of communicating? What are pieces that you can give them that's going to help them strengthen their relationships with their customers? What are the publications and e-letters and everything else that they're reading where they can see you, where you will have some visibility to them? Think about, what's the top 5 problems that these people are having, and come up with, your solutions for them, and then just write them as articles, blog posts, all these different things, and, get it out in front of them.
Hey, Katie.
Yes?
I just wanted to throw out there, it's Pam, that's what I've been doing for years. I have a petcopywriter.com website, and, you only have your core pages that you don't need to refresh all that often, but if you keep adding blog posts that talk about what's going on in the marketing world and that veterinary marketers or pet company owners should know, because they're so busy running their businesses, they just can't keep up with all of it. And the thing that's great about picking a niche and keeping on top of these things, is you can then apply, like let's say Google made a change, or there's something cool with email marketing that proves it's still bringing in the most leads. You can write a blog post about how that applies to your industry. So I would say, wow, Google just made a change. Here's why it matters to the veterinary industry. And then you become this instant authority, and that, I would say, is the #1 way I have brought traffic to my website, by having all those blog posts. And then the second thing I wanted to mention is I also reached out to a trade journal and offered to write for them for a while in trade for my byline and a link to my website. And that was really great. They were like, wow, free content on marketing. And I would write these simple articles. But as I learned skills and strategies, I can then convey how that stuff can apply to my potential clients, the veterinary businesses out there. And ultimately, they started paying me to do this work because they were so happy with it and they wanted to keep me involved. So I just wanted to throw that in there if it's helpful.
It's very helpful, Paul. Pam, we love your experience and just showing it in action. That's exactly how it works. And now, Pam, did you have any concerns that, oh, you might not be an expert yet? How did you overcome that hurdle when you were starting out, at least?
Well, one of the great things about picking a niche is that you can then search and see who else is out there as a copywriter in that industry. So when I decided to position myself as the pet copywriter, I Googled pet copywriter, and there were only like 4 or 5 other people who were positioning themselves that way or promoting themselves. And I looked at their websites and I saw that, they were talking about different things too, but I could certainly put my own spin on it as a pet owner, as someone who used to work in the industry, and then I'm learning new things about marketing all the time. Like Inc. magazine might have an incredible article about why you should be using Instagram. I'm just making that up. But then I could take that with my writing skills and say, wow, Inc. magazine just posted this amazing article, and so here's maybe some ideas for you as a veterinary practice on how you could use Instagram. And believe me, they don't follow this stuff. They don't have time. Yeah, they like you said, they don't even want to. They're too busy doing what they're doing. So if they can just Google something like using Instagram for veterinary practices, I'll show up.
Yep.
And they'll be like,
beautiful
genius.
Example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun.
And crossing industries like that, crossing worlds almost, and bringing that together, highlighting something, that's a great way to show, A, that you're on top of things, B, that you're thinking about them, and C, that you have the ability to deliver on what the idea is promising. I mean, that's a great way to break into that. Exactly.
It makes you look like an instant genius. So I highly recommend it.
We love those instant buttons.
Yeah.
And when you are thinking about the writing part of your overall marketing strategy, you do want to write to your ideal clients. Like Rebecca was saying, you don't want 100 people that, aren't potential clients. You just want the 3 good ones. So really visualize them, know who they are, know what's important to them, and then write to them something that is going to trigger oh man, I need this person to help me out with this. Hit that button in them. You want to provide solutions to their key challenges, needs, and interests. And, for most businesses, that's more customers, better customers, happier customers, more longer, deeper relationship with their customers. So that's really 9 times out of 10 at the heart of it. If you are going to start a newsletter or a blog, you want to be consistent. You don't want that, one-hit wonder or, oh yeah, let's do it. I'm going to do this every week. well, you know what, there's 52 weeks in a year, and those weeks come up really quick. You know, you have to think about those things. Whatever it is, whatever vehicle you're going to do, make sure that it's realistic for you, that there's depth there for you, and that it's something that you can actualize. You want to market yourself. You know, you want to do what you can to drive people to what you've written. So if you have Facebook and Instagram, you know, mention it, direct people to it. Try to get the word out as much as you can to help drive people to these the things that you're writing. And you know, you always want to link back to your website. You know, sometimes if you're posting on other people's sites, you just have to be clear on what's acceptable as far as they're concerned. But you know, you always want to have a bio. You always want to have some kind of reference that will get people back to your website, the beautiful website you've created with Rebecca's help, perhaps. So now just a few best practices. This goes to the whole picking your niche idea, and we have the great Inside AWAI that Pam helped us with. You know, you want to make, and I hope everybody has watched that. If not, that's your homework for the weekend. You want to make sure your market is healthy. You're going to be starting this. You're going to be putting a lot of time and energy into this, so you want to make sure that it's viable. Like I said, think about an overall strategy, an overall portfolio where you're having a mix of inbound and outbound. You know, there's definitely going to be some that rise to the top, some that are more productive for you, but you don't want all your eggs in one basket. In that same vein, you know, the ones that do the best for you, do them your best. Do them as well as you can, and be consistent. This is part of your job. This is part of running this business. And so you need to set aside a certain amount of time every day, every week, and make sure that you're checking off the marketing box, that you're doing something to drive your business, build your business, grow your business on a regular basis. You want to, this is something that any marketer, really every company should do if they're not already, and that's think about, evaluate, do a little analysis to be sure that what you're doing is effective. You know, there's lots of different ways to do that, and I think that could probably be a great topic for a webinar as well, as that type of mindset. But you don't want to keep doing something if it's not working, and if something is working, you want to do more of it. And so you need to have some checkpoints in place along the line that you can go back to, and just make sure that you are being as effective as possible. And then you want to develop systems in place to qualify the leads that you do get. You know, in the beginning, it might just be where you're getting an email or a phone call, and you call them, and you have conversations. But, and actually, Pam, what's your system as far as qualifying leads? I'm curious about that.
Because I get, like I mentioned, my biggest, maybe I didn't mention it, but the biggest way that I do get inquiries from clients is online. They find me in search. And I wanted to mention another reason to make sure your website is focused on an industry is because clients are searching that way. They're searching for a pet copywriter or a insurance copywriter or whatever niche it is. They want someone with some knowledge of their market. So when they do contact me, they often need help with their website, or they want blog posts or other types of fresh content. And what I will do is say, hey, I'd love to talk with you and understand what you're looking for. Let's get on the phone. And then I set up a phone meeting, because then together we can quickly look at their website or whatever, but also I can kind of test the waters on where they are. Like, are they a startup? And they're going, well, I don't have a lot of money for you right now, but boy, you know, if you work with us, we'll pay you as we grow, which is kind of scary. I wouldn't recommend that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it might be a very reputable and long-time mid-sized business that has decent budgets. And you get a sense for that when you look at the website with them, and you can ask them questions about what they normally do for marketing and things like that. You get clues on whether or not they're qualified. Another type of client might be someone who has no money at all, is a tiny business, needs help, but isn't going to really be able to afford you, or goes, oh my gosh, I could never pay that. Well, then you know that you have to make a decision. Do you wish them well and say goodbye, or do you take them on for a tiny budget because it's going to be a good example for you to have on your website and to have a testimonial and to get that traction for yourself? So I wouldn't say you should always turn away tiny clients with very little money, because they actually can be a great way to get your foot in the door and then get some traction going, and have samples for your website and all that stuff. That's a personal decision you have to make. But those are the kind of things you can do by having a phone call instead of just flinging an email back at them.
Right. And I think, you know, you're gonna be able to start trusting your gut. You're gonna know how to do this. Rebecca, did you have anything to add to that one idea?
I did not. I'm in the Q&A. We have 129 questions that we've just answered. I have been like, as fast as I can.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, that's so fun to see. Well, I think I'll be interested to hear what your best practices are once you start doing this. And we do want to hear from you. We want to know which of these you're doing, which you're doing first, how you're balancing them, how it all fits in with your overall success. So please keep in touch with us. Rebecca, are there any questions we want to answer publicly?
No, we've been just typing as fast as possible. The only thing is Bud asked, what did Katie mention we could consider our weekend assignment? You had mentioned something in the last session. You were saying the niche inside AWAI. That's your homework for this weekend, if you haven't watched that yet. To watch that webinar. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Everybody just thank you. Great tips and advice. I think we've been...
This was fun.
And those of you who are asking Ricky to redefine what she was talking about, virtual business builder. Oh, this is something, okay, so people were asking about VBB. That's I guess Ricky mentioned a comment about it. So that was a program. We don't actually offer it right now. We might bring it back at some point this year. It was our trial run for the first time, but what we did was we took everybody through the 8 steps for building a business, all the way from picking your niche, crafting your marketing message, putting up your website, putting up your LinkedIn profile, figuring out your pricing schedule, how to prospect using emails, how to close clients. We really walked them through this business building process. It was an 8-session thing over the course of 4 weeks, and you literally did each step. Like, we gave you all the how-to instructions. You went and did it. You got feedback, and then you moved on to the next step. So we're trying to, it was a big success. Everybody went through it, loved it, and are up and running. We will try to bring it back at some point this year. We're just trying to figure all that out. So thank you, Ricky, for recommending it. That's cool. I'm glad that you got a lot out of it. I know that you were active in it, and everybody else. It's not available right now, but we will do our best to bring it back at some point this year.
And Ricky has some big news. I think she's launching her website. I think it's next week. So
yay!
That's exciting. All right. Well, this is all this love really does a girl's heart good. We love you guys too, and we really enjoy doing these. And let us know what you want to hear from us. We, like I said, you give us a topic, we can go to town on it. But we always love to hear what your concerns are, what your worries are, you know, anything we can do.
What do you need help with? Even opportunities, like I wish I knew how to do this thing, or like the LinkedIn profile. We talked about LinkedIn in all these sessions, and finally I got the email from someone on one of these webinars saying, can you give us some advice on how to actually put up a LinkedIn profile? So I went to, you know, we have such a Rolodex of experts that we can go to. Does anyone even know what a Rolodex is anymore? We have a long list of people in our LinkedIn connections.
Our contact address book?
Yes, like we're very well connected. So somebody sent me an email. I went to Elise Brennan, who I know has a lot of expertise in this area, and we put, you know, we'll bring her in and pay her to do a webinar on this that you guys can attend. So whatever you need. Next week or next month, I think our topic, you know, we often talk about the six-figure careers. You know, we talk about becoming a B2B copywriter and that career. But next month, we're going to be talking about some of the smaller assignments, the things that you can do in your spare time, in your part-time, for those of you who aren't necessarily ready to make a full jump into a career, but just want to, like, try this and just do a little bit on the side. We're going to go through, I think it's 7 projects that you can finish in a weekend that will all bring you in at least $1,000 per project. So, and I'm defining a weekend by like 12 hours. So whether you do that in the evening over the week or genuinely on the weekend, but we're going to start looking at some of these specific project types that you can just focus on if you're just trying to get your feet wet and get started. That's next topic. The month after that, we're going to be talking about a topic that was very popular last year, client list. If you don't want to work for clients or you just want a secondary income stream, we'll go through all of the ways that you can use your writing skills to create a business for yourself that brings in revenue that is not reliant on clients, which is great to have as a secondary income stream for your business. But anything that you would like to talk about, email me at askrebecca@awaiionline.com. I usually run the editorial calendar for these webinars. Send me an email and just let me know about the topic and specifically what you want to know about it. So if you want to know how to build a LinkedIn profile, for example, I wanted to know where they were getting stuck. You know, what were the challenges? So any topics like that, by all means, write them in. That helps us understand what you need, what you want, and deliver content that's useful for you where you are right now.
Excellent. All right. On that, I think we need to call it a day.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We love this. And thank you, Pam, for joining us today. And go out there and land some clients. Put these strategies to work.
Everything's falling into place. Excellent.
Yay.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Pam.
Bye, everyone.
Go rest your fingers.